Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about the VCT EMEA last chance qualifiers and doing my pick'ems and predictions for the LCQ tournament. These teams are fighting for the last two EMEA spots in Champions. This region does have an extra slot because of Fnatic winning Masters Tokyo, so we will see the top two teams from this LCQ tournament move into Champions. So let's just get right into it and talk about which teams I think are going to win and lose. First off, we have Team Heretics versus Koi. During the regular season, these two teams did meet and Koi did take it 2-1. This was Koi's second win of the season, and that would be their last win of the season. That was the second last game of the season for them. Koi did take that one 2-1, 7-13 in the first map in Fracture, and then Lotus was 13-9 in favor of Team Heretics, and then Ascent was 11-13 in favor of Koi. So pretty close match, but these two teams are two teams that struggled throughout the entire season. Both teams having identical records of 2-7. For Team Heretics, their maps were 7-14, rounds were 199-247 for a -48 round differential, while Koi 2-7, 7 maps won to 15 maps lost, 210 rounds won to 262 rounds lost for -52. So this is kind of a bottom of the barrel match. This is the knockout round. The teams that lose in these first two matches that we see on the board will be knocked out immediately. Team Heretics having some decent talent with Kellogg's and Mixwell, but again, underperforming definitely more than this organization would have wanted them to. And Koi is a similar situation. They go in the offseason, they pick up some pretty good talent in Starzo, Shados, and Coldamente, and none of it works. They had some decent performances. They did beat Nautis Vincer in the very first match of the regular season, so pretty impressive from a team that you definitely would not expect to beat Navi, even if at the time we didn't know how bad this roster was going to perform. And Heretics, they won over Carmine Corp. They won against Giants Gaming, so I mean, Giants is a decent team, so fair enough. But I do think Koi has better talent, and I think they're going to, come in with a bit more chemistry than they had before and is able to take them down. Next up, we have BBL versus Carmine Corp. All right, so Carmine Corp became a bit of a meme over the regular season for the EMEA League, having some downright awful performances and just some meme-worthy stuff going on with that team. But Carmine Corp did beat BBL. The all-Turkish team struggled throughout the regular season mightily. They did win against Vitality, Heretics, and Koi. So decent performances there, but a lot of the bigger, better teams they could not win against. It does feel kind of weird choosing Carmine Corp over anyone else, but they did beat BBL, and they actually do have some pretty good talent in Scream. Scream should not be the IGL on any team ever. He's a great player. Just put him on Duelist, leave him there. Don't make him IGL. But he's a good player. They're very solid. They can do well. I don't know what the new Zera's situation is. I guess he's just not playing for them anymore, just at all. But I'm going to go with Carmine Corp on this one. They can beat them. Next up, we have Nautis Vincer versus Koi. So this is a rematch from the EMEA regular season where Koi had an upset win against them. Navi has been struggling mightily over the last, I'd say, month. They had a kind of mediocre EMEA playoffs. They had a pretty bad performance at Masters Tokyo. This team feels like they're just on the downswing now. They had a pretty good regular season, going 7-2, so that's pretty good. But in the EMEA playoffs, they immediately lose to Team Liquid, a team that on paper they should be able to beat. And they did beat them during the regular season. They won against Giants, but then they lost against Foot. And then in Masters Tokyo, they lose 2-1 against Energy and then 2-0 against Edward Gaming, who had a very good performance in Tokyo, actually. So not to take too much away from them, but Navi definitely should not have lost that match. Navi is a team that has championship winners in their lineup. It's almost entirely, that roster is entirely made of players that have won major tournaments in Valorant before. They have some super solid talent with CNED. They have great IGLing. With Angel, you have Xiao, Zippin, so it gets you. This is a great team, and they should do better, and I think they can pick Koi, so I'm going to choose them to beat Koi. I think they get revenge for that regular season loss, but I do have some pretty big concerns about Navi going forward. Next up, we have Giants Gaming versus Carmine Corp. I think Giants can take that. Is that really... I feel like that's not a really big argument to be made. I don't really have to go through it too much, do I? Just to go through it a little bit, Giants did beat them, what is shocker, in the regular season 2-0, 16-4 on Lotus, and then 13-5 on Ascent. So there was an overtime match, so maybe it's closer than people think, but Giants is a solid team. I don't know if they win the entire LCQ, but they should be able to beat Carmine Corp. Then we go down to the lower round. We have Koi versus Carmine Corp. During the regular season, Carmine Corp did beat Koi in a 2-1 match. Both teams having a 2-7 record during the regular season. Maps for Koi was 7-15. Rounds were 210 to 262 for -52, while Carmine Corp was a shockingly bad 4-15 in maps. Oh my god. Rounds were 150 to 243 for -93. God, those numbers are so bad. Listen, Carmine Corp beat Koi during the regular season, but I think Koi is the better team. I'm going to pick them over Carmine. As much as I love Scream, I really love Scream. I really want him to win a tournament in Valorant. I don't know if it's going to happen. CS2 is coming out. He might go back to that. I don't know. That's not a rumor. That's just something I just made up on the spot. But I can see it happening. Anyways, we have Nodus Vincer versus Giants Gaming. During the regular season, Giants lost this one 2-1 to Nodus Vincer. Icebox was 17-15 in favor of Giants, so they did beat them in overtime. And then Split was a 13-15 loss, another overtime game right there. And then Pearl 7-13, so that one was a bit more decisive, but Nodus Vincer, I think on paper, is a much better team. They also met during the EMEA playoffs, and Nodus Vincer did win that one 2-0. That was to decide what team would make it into Masters Tokyo, and Nodus Vincer ended up taking that, so maybe Giants are looking for a bit of revenge here. And I do think that Navi is the better team, but as I said before, I do have concerns about the roster going forward. I don't know if they're at the same level that they were when they were FBX last year. CNET is a great player, and he performed very well during the regular season. It just kind of feels like maybe this roster doesn't have a lot of time left being very dominant. I do kind of like Giants Gaming's chances here, and I'm going to take it. And then down to the lower final, we have a rematch in Nodus Vincer versus Koi. Again, I think Navi is the better team here. I know Koi beat them, and maybe they're looking for revenge, but I am going to take Navi to get back into the grand finals. And then the grand finals happens, and a rematch from the upper final, Giants versus Nodus Vincer. I know what I just said about Giants, and I know what I just said about Navi. I'm going to take Navi. Navi, I think they can make it to champions. I think they should probably be there already. And I just hope that maybe after losing to Giants in the upper final, they, kick themselves a little bit and then are able to turn around and then go into the grand finals and win that match and make it to Champions 2023. Anyways, that's all for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and who do you think is going to win the EMEA LCQ? If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.